Hello everyone, it's Michelle Upton here for Picket Studios, and today I'm going to be making a mini slimline shaker card. So I'm starting with the Hello Slimline die insert and the mini slimline double stitched rectangles set. But first, of course, I have to create my card base. So I'm scoring a piece of Nina Solar White at 3.5 inches, folded it over, cut it in half, and then I'm actually going to use the offcut to do my die cutting. But at the moment, this card that I've just created is a slimline card, but I want a mini slimline card. A slimline card is 8.5 inches, a mini is 6 inches, so I'm cutting off 2.5 inches, and I just put that into my scrap pile. I'll use that for stamping and die cutting or fussy cutting something. Never goes to waste. I always put it into my little scrap pile. Alright, so I'm just going to, as I said, use this offcut to cut my card front with. So I'm just lining up the smaller of the two stitched rectangles and that hello insert, and I've run that through my die cutting machine. Now I'm just popping out all of the little bits in the middle, and there is my card front. But of course I am going to be making a shaker card, so I need a panel of acetate. Now this is actually a piece of some old packaging. It actually used to be a box that something came in that had a sticker on it, so I didn't want to use it again to package something else into, so I just chopped it into pieces. Now it is slightly firmer plastic than you get in packaging. I find that it's really good to use the plastic packaging that like stamp sets and dies and stuff come in to do the full front shaker cards, but this one I just need a little panel. So I'm just going to be using my liquid glue here. I'm putting a very thin line around the edge of the circle and just a few little tiny thin lines and little dots over the hello, so that hello will stick to the acetate. And now I'm just going around the edges of the acetate, just right up against the edge, to make sure that sticks nicely. And I'm going to try very, very hard not to squish any of the glue in any direction so it ends up on the front of the card. I'm notorious for doing that, and I still managed to do it. There's a tiny little blob right next to the little loop on the H, but I managed to get rid of it, so it's not too bad. Liquid glue is just frustrating when it comes to shaker cards, but I find it sticks really, really well. Now what I'm doing now is I am going to be doing some ink blending on the card base to shine through that window. So I'm just lining up the die right behind the window so I know where it will go on the card. And then I'm just going to use a pencil to trace around it. That's just going to give me a guide as to where I need to keep my ink blending, because I don't want to go all over the front of the card. I certainly don't want any of the colour to be peeking out the sides of the panel on the front. So now I know where the circle is, I can mask around it so I won't get any of my ink anywhere that I don't want to. Alright, so here are my inks that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using my life-changing blender brushes with 3 different Distress Oxide inks. Sorry, I actually cut out a bit of the ink blending here. My phone battery died, and then when I happened to stand up, I saw, oh, it's not recording, but it got most of it. It only cut out a little bit, so I thought it'd be okay to keep on going. So right now I'm using Tumbled Glass. The yellow is Squeezed Lemonade, and the pink is Kitsch Flamingo. But you can see I overlapped them, so I did get a little bit of green and a little bit of orange in there. But now I've put over the top of it the Lots of Blossoms 6x6 stencil, because what I wanted here was a rainbow, but I wanted it tone on tone, because I didn't want it just stark colour on a white background. I wanted it rainbow on a rainbow background, just different intensities of colour. Now this stencil, it's still got a tiny bit of pixie spray on the back of it from the last time that I used it, so it's not moving around very much at all. Alright, so now on to my last colour, which is the Kitsch Flamingo again. So I started with the Kitsch Flamingo and I'm finishing with the Kitsch Flamingo. I'm just lifting it up to make sure that it looks okay at this point. And yep, it looks pretty much okay. So I'm going to put my inkstand away, remove my stencil, and that all looks good. So now I'm removing my little bits of masking tape. I actually reuse masking tape. I have a little plastic container off to my left and I just stick that masking tape on there and it stays there for next time. Alright, so now I can pop my front panel on the front and it looks really cool. But this is a shaker card, so I need two more things. I need some foam tape behind my panel, and this is the bit of making a shaker card that I am not good at. So I'm actually going to cut most of it out because it's just painful to watch. Anyway, I used some of the thicker, the wider foam tape at the top and the bottom, and then I just got some of the thinner, the narrower foam tape, and I'm just wrapping around to get a vague idea of how much I'm going to need. I didn't actually measure it completely correctly, but that's okay. But a little trick here is when you've got your foam tape that you want to put around a circle, take the backing strip off, because as soon as you take the backing strip off, you can curl it around a circle easy peasy, and it makes your job of making a shaker window that much easier. Alright, so I cut out most of all of this foam adhesive addition, and that is just going to sit there until I'm ready. And now I'm going to be adding my crystalline diamonds. So these are going to be my shaker elements. No sequins today, we're just going to be using crystalline diamonds. So the colours that I've got, I have the green one is Peridot, the pink one is Tanzanite, the yellow one is Citrine, the blue one is Aquamarine, and then we have two very pale ones. The one on the far right is called Diamond, and then the one next to it that's slightly off-white is called Opal. Now what I'm doing, I kind of made a mistake here. I actually put some foam adhesive behind the letters, just tiny little bits of foam adhesive behind the letters. I probably could have got away with not doing that in this shaker card, but hey, I did it. So when I'm laying out my little crystalline diamonds, I tried to avoid getting them near the letters. But now that I've got the front on, it's all ready to shake. I'm just going to show you up close. Nice rainbow and some lovely crystalline diamonds moving around there. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!